Hi, my name is A Chiunie with metric number 179106.
Hi, my name is Joash Shane Benedict with matrix number 179226. Okay, so today I'll be asking you a few questions.
Regarding on our CEL 2108 academic portfolio task A.
Yeah, okay. So the first question is where do you live?
I live in a beautiful city known as Ipoh. It's a very historical city where it's known as the origin of the Ipoh white coffee. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, it originated from Ipoh, and it's considered as the center of Perak, which is very accessible to every other little towns near in Perak area.
I see. Okay, so what are your hobbies?
My hobbies, I basically like to do a lot of different type of activities, but mostly outdoors, I can say. I don't really like to stay indoor where I'll be away from the sun and the sweat. So preferably I would like to do activities such as swimming. It depends. If it's rainy day I can't swim, so maybe I'll just stay indoor and do some other stuff such as playing computer games. Yeah, but most of the time I would like to spend time outside in the nature and all. Hiking would be my most favorite one, whereby I can practice somehow cardio workout. Yeah, I can do more stuff hiking.
So you're more of an outdoor person,
An
I guess.
outdoor and adventurous person, yeah.
I see. Okay, so what did you do last weekend?
Last weekend, so what did I do? Oh, I just recently came back from my mid-semester holiday break for 1 week. Last weekend I would still most probably in a small animal rotation where I'm in the intensive care unit. What I did last weekend was there was a really emergency case on a husky which is around 4 months old. He was suspected with a neurological problem and has bilateral hind limb paralysis. So it was also suspected with most probably perhaps megaesophagus, whereby it couldn't eat by himself. So we have to do somehow like an elevated feeding, whereby the gravity helps to pull the food down into the stomach. So most of the time we've been spending in ICU taking care of that little puppy, and more or less we handle some other cat cases, such as chronic kidney disease cats, and also a dog with a distended abdomen. So I've been spending my Saturday and Sunday in that ward before I coming back to Ipoh.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what will your job be in the future?
As what I mentioned for my previous question, what did I do for my last weekend? I've been taking care of a puppy. So my future would be a veterinarian. Hopefully I could be. However, I'm more into like a wildlife person compared to a small animal type. Wildlife, the career and the opportunity is so wide that not many vets are currently into that category yet. Most are like into livestock, small animals, and etc. So I'm more interested in becoming a wildlife vet, most probably joining Pahilitan. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I heard of it.
Yeah, so Pahilita, I would like to actually um, give some of my support and what I can do in this industry to the government first before I move on into the what do you call into the private sector. Yeah,
I
thank you.
see. Okay, so since you mentioned you want to be a wildlife veterinarian,
Yes.
so the next question is somewhat related to this. So, describe a zoo or wildlife park you have visited that has impressed you.
That one that could bring me back to a year before today. I actually under our faculty curriculum program. We are required to do 2 weeks of wildlife or exotic industry training. So my friend and I we have selected to go to this rescue center known as the National Wildlife Rescue Center (NWRC) in Sungai Perak. So this center is basically a rescue unit where it actually takes care most of the tigers and sun bear. These are the two major species that is being taken care of. And the mission of this rescue center practices 3R: rescue, rehabilitate, and one more.
Release?
Yeah, release. Yeah, that's what rescue center does. So the doctors there are the doctor there is Dr. Zubaida, which is a specialist in tiger. So I am really much interested to be a tiger specialist too. That is one of the reasons why I visited that place. And it's a very, what do you say? It's a very,
Huge.
it's not huge. It's a small place, but it's an eye-opening experience, whereby it's a really huge different from a zoo. They have limited staff, but they have limited staff provided by the government, so most of the time the staff there do things by themselves. For example, building their enclosure stuff, their enrichments, mostly are not subsidized, but they try to make use of what nature can provide. For example, like their beds for the tigers and all, they'll be using logs and all different type of woods that what forest can provide them, and try to make their enclosure as close as possible to the nature. And well, one really good experience that I get from there is we never actually get close in contact with tiger before, but when I was there for a week, I actually get to perform some procedures such as morphological checking and basic physical examination on a tiger which suspected with a hygroma on the elbow. So we basically sedated the tiger, transported that 400 kg tiger onto a truck and back down to the clinic and do a quick check on it and do some small lancing procedure to remove the fluid out and bandage the tiger, and we reverse the sedation effect and let the tiger be awake. So that, to me, I think it's a very significant thing that happened in my life, and that would be the starting point of what I want my future goal to be.
I see. Okay, so moving on to the next part. What do you think are the benefits of keeping animals in a zoo?
This is keeping animals in a zoo is a very subjective topic, whereby there is no correct and there's no wrong. So basically, in my own opinion, I think keeping animals in a zoo does bring some benefits. Firstly, zoo is somehow like an education center where people such as public, unlike us that we get access to animals because we are studying veterinary medicine, but public people, the only way they can access to the animal is by going zoo. So somehow it acts as an education point where the zoo people can educate the public on the awareness of maybe these certain species that is going to be extinct. For example, critical endangered animals such as Malayan tiger or even sun bear. Zoo plays an important role in teaching the public, saying we should like conserve them by not doing poaching or eating or buying exotic meats. So other than that, I also think that zoo, by keeping this animal, it somehow helps to increase their lifespan rather than leaving them alone in the wild. So zoo also actually have breeding programs. For example, what I know from the rescue center before this is like mentioning tigers are like decreasing in the wild. So zoo are bringing them in, breeding them in captivity to increase the number. However, there's a disadvantage of it whereby the tigers bred in captivity cannot be released back. Yeah.
See. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Do the benefits of keeping animals in a zoo outweigh the drawbacks, and why? Okay, so do you think Do the benefits of keeping animals in a zoo outweigh the drawbacks? What do you think? Yes or no?
I think it yes and no. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Before we go to the why, maybe we should look at like what are the drawbacks of keeping animals in a zoo.
First of all, we kind of like restrain their normal behavior and their movement. That's how animals in zoos tend to express stereotypic behavior, head swaying, or they just move around and do the same motion again and again. That's what they do if they get bored and confined in a small space. Unlike in the wild, they are free to roam around and express their normal behavior. So one of the drawbacks is that, and second, they don't have the proper um, prey and predator relationship because all of the food are given based on their prescribed diet. So like I said, they don't get to express their normal behavior. They don't get to use what they are naturally used to be, like their canine, their claws, their instinct on their sniffing and their sight. They don't get to use it that much if they are being kept in a zoo. Unlike in the wild, they are built to use those senses for that prey and predator relationship. So I think in conclusion, yeah, it does not. The benefit does not outweigh the drawbacks.
So that's your reason why it doesn't
Yes.
outweigh.
And another point, animal welfare, I guess. Keeping them in a small confined area, not getting to express their normal behavior, it somehow does not comply to the 5 freedom for the animals.
Okay. So let's say what would you, in your opinion, change to actually help to benefit the animals that are in the zoo? Since you say that the benefit does not outweigh the drawbacks, so what can be done to like help improve the living conditions there, or something like that?
As my role in a vet, yes, I would say firstly we have to, if we have the budget, we could actually make the enclosure bigger and limit the capacity inside. Less animal equal more space for a particular animal, and we have to actually know their behavior as well. If they seem stressed, being approached or handled too much by human contact, we could try to just leave them alone and then try to do more enrichment program to actually stimulate their natural instincts and their senses, so that could actually be more normal to what they should be in the nature. And other than that, I believe that diet plays an important role in zoo animals. Too much protein or carbs could lead to an obese animal, and maybe we could give some like enrichment, make them exercise more, walk more, just to make them be more healthy.
Can you elaborate more on the enrichment program? Like what is enrichment, and then like what are the few examples of enrichment that can be done?
For example, let me give an example on sun bear. So sun bear, they have long claws and they have very good sensing through their nose. So what we could do is, normally we found sun bears in captivity have overgrown claws, which they don't use much to dig and to find food. So what we can do is we find some empty logs, put in some fruits and veggies, honey most probably to stimulate their senses, and it triggers them to look for their own food naturally as what happened in the wild. So that could be one of the examples of the enrichment program.
I see. Okay, so I guess that's it, since we don't have enough time anymore. So that's all from us.
Thank you.
Thank you.